You guys, I've recorded this video twice on this phone, and every time the video's deleted itself, and so I'm just gonna record it on the iPad. Sorry guys, I know the words do not fit the whole screen. I'm trying to like move the screen, and I find with TikTok, that's the one thing I'm not so fond of TikTok's in-app content creation. It's like if you put up a background, it won't let you like massage and edit the background so that you can get things to fit. Like you should be able to shrink and expand to size, and they haven't quite figured that out. So I have the same screenshot that I just took. I'm gonna be reading it, so you'll get all the words, okay? Worst case, go look up Donald Trump's on Truth. You can see it pretty much anywhere. He said it on his Truth Social or Lie Social application, but it is going viral everywhere. Okay, so let's read. Mother Goose glasses on. We have just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with, including the fact that they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs for years on dairy products, has just announced that they are putting a digital services tax on our American technology companies, which is a direct and blatant attack on our country. They are obviously copying the European Union, which has done the same thing, and is currently under discussion with us too. Also, he didn't say too, he said also. Based on this egregious tax, we are hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada effective immediately. We will let Canada know that the tariff that they will be paying to do business with the United States of America within the next 7-day period. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, so what are my thoughts? My thoughts is that I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of weary. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. After a while, I've started to just kind of buy things without looking at the back of the label. I do buy certain things Canadian, and I have been making a switch. Like I switched to Nivea lotion. I've just found Burt's Bees, and I'm going to keep buying their lip balm once all my American ones run out. When I go do grocery shopping, like when I'm online grocery shopping, like to order, I do look up the stuff, and I do... Sorry guys, I got a spam call. But like when I go grocery shopping, I do kind of take a look and try to see what's Canadian and what's not. But you know, sometimes when I'm on the road and I just want to grab a snack, you know, I just gotta grab the snack. And then I had to sneeze. This video is going great, guys. But anyway, the TLDR is that a lot of people have gotten comfortable. I'm seeing long lines at McDonald's, long lines at Starbucks, long lines everywhere. People aren't as motivated and haven't been as motivated to buy Canadian and really get elbows up. And I gotta call me out. I'm not gonna lie, occasionally I've gone to McDonald's too. I gotta call me out, and I gotta call all of us out. We have gotten complacent. And the reality is that Donald Trump is somewhat focused on the fact that Canada must roll over and show its belly to him, and we must just let him come into our nation and do whatever he wants to do. And don't get me wrong, in this situation, in this specific context, I do think he has a point. I do think that Canada does a lot of work in subsidizing the dairy industry. And, you know, the dairy industry has been going on for decades. And I truly do believe that they need to start to be able to kind of stand on their own 2 feet and be a little bit more profitable and be able to withstand some form of outside competition. But that said, I also believe that it is common practice in many countries around the world who do participate in international trade to subsidize internal programs and then put a tariff on external products and services because they want to encourage people to buy local and stimulate the local economy. Again, I didn't do well in economics, okay? My grades in economics was why I switched from business to communications, okay? So we can Google, I can Google, you can Google, and feel free to call me out if I'm going wrong on this. And again, I also did not study politics. I wanted to, but politics was at the same time as my French and my Spanish classes in high school. So sorry, I kicked my tripod. And yeah, I never quite got the chance to get into it. But so I'm happy to be wrong here. I'm giving you a layperson's perspective. Happy to be called out. So, and I'm happy to do a bit more research and to watch some news articles and educate myself. Yeah. Okay. But from what I understand, the dairy industry has gotten a lot of subsidies from the government. They had a lot of promotion. We all remember the Got Milk campaign, but that might've been an American campaign coming into Canada. But we've always had heavy promotion in Canada, whether from billboards or whatever. We've always had a lot of promotion of drink milk, get strong bones, have cheese. Like, of all the industries out there, I feel like the dairy industry has always gotten a lot of promotion. And, you know, I've been hearing for years now that, you know, we do a lot to subsidize the Canadian dairy industry. And while I wouldn't want to have foreign markets completely overtake the Canadian dairy industry, you know, at a point you have to ask, like, if this industry continues to need so much subsidization from the government, is it really a viable industry? It's worth considering. As for the digital services tax, I'm a little torn on that one. Because if I remember correctly, the digital services tax was targeting companies like Netflix, Hulu, HBO, all those streaming services that are out there. If I'm wrong, again, feel free to call me out. I'm happy to come on here and make a video correcting myself. But yeah, the reality of the matter is this. Canada's been a country since 1867, yeah? And so it's weird to me that even from the beginning, because America had themselves together sooner than we did, we just defaulted to them for everything. In Canada, we still don't have international trade, or I shouldn't say international, interprovincial trade between our borders. We are more focused on trading internationally than we are interprovincially. Thankfully, Carney has come on board and has said that he is going to tear down the barriers between interprovincial trade, which is great, but we should have been doing this earlier. Same with building our markets building trade relationships in other nations. We have some, but they're not as strong or as viable as the United States. If the United States wants to cut us at the knees and say, you are no longer our trading partner, we cannot really survive well without the United States. It's going to be a very rough and bumpy transition to find trading partners that can fill in that big gap that the United States is going to be providing us with. And I'll say this with regards to the digital services tax. I understand that the digital services are a new industry, and well, relatively, it's been about 10 or so years they've been out. It's a relatively new industry, right? There should have been parameters built when they came out. And they let things go and let things lie for a long time. And then all of a sudden now they're like, oh, well, you know, we're going to put a tax on this. And it's like, well, people have been using these services without this extra tax for how many years? And now all of a sudden you decided it's a big issue. Of course people are going to be upset. They had free reign in your borders for how long? American movies and television shows completely dominate the Canadian market. They completely dominate the radio stations here. Everything, all of our products and services, majority of that stuff is coming straight from America, especially in terms of entertainment. And now to say to them, oh, we're going to put a stop to the flood of digital streaming services coming through our borders, we're going to put a tax on it. Obviously, they're going to be angry. Obviously, they're going to be frustrated. But at the same time, I have to say to myself that, you know, you can't be mad at a country for protecting its own interests. You know, because I'm sure America does some version of this as well, and other nations around the world. They put extra taxes, extra fees on other people's external and foreign products and services in order to ensure that their internal structure and their internal goods and services stay viable. So to me, I just don't understand why Trump, because he's on the receiving end, he doesn't like it. But the reality is you would do this to somebody else with no issue. You know? I guess for me, I'm getting really frustrated because once upon a time, I planned on being a dual citizen. I planned on getting dual citizenship with Canada and the United States. These two countries, I always saw them as home. But now, as I see the trajectory of the United States and with all the nonsense that Trump keeps doing, it's really making me grateful that when my father had the chance to come and study in North America, he chose North York and not New York, because there's just too much nonsense going on down south. It's ridiculous. Trump thinks he can just get up, tweet whatever he wants, and bully everybody into doing everything he wants them to do. And it's like, no, we are sovereign nations. We have the right to self-governance.